Well, even friends of Hillary Clinton now say the family needs to sever all connections to the Clinton Foundation, but that might not be enough to end questions of how it was used to cash in on her position as Secretary of State. And now, even the possibility it was used to launder foreign money. Here now is Charles Ortel. He's a financial whistleblower who previously found major gaps in Clinton records. Charles, there's several foreign entities that the Clinton Foundation had. They call them little brothers, if you will, one of which was in Sweden. Now, this was a time in 2009 until 2014 when Sweden had a couple of companies, big companies like Volvo and Ericsson, that were dealing with Iran, and the State Department was reviewing whether that was proper or not. At the same time, the little brother Clinton Foundation was receiving a lot of money from Sweden in the form of checks from the lottery and other institutions. That, by the way, is their 990 form, the Clinton Foundation, that shows the Stockholm branch. But switch to how much money they were getting from this Stockholm branch. In 2014, almost $7 million. In 2013, almost $10 million. 2012, $5 million. This was at the same time when the State Department pulled back on investigating these Swedish companies. Is there a connection?
Yeah, I think the first point that your viewers should understand is that there is no real independent check of any of these numbers, as is required by federal and state law here. So the numbers that you're throwing around there on the 990 have never been independently verified by anybody. So we really don't know whether that's a lowball estimate, a high estimate, or what.
But you're not supposed to lie to the IRS. Most of us get in big trouble if we do that.
Absolutely, and even, the IRS has one set of rules, but New York State has an even tougher set of rules, which requires you to reconcile the general line on the income statement on your 990 of government grants and provide tremendous details. The Clinton Foundation's never done that since inception.
But here's the real question, Charles, as far as the Swedish group is concerned. It looks like they were a shell organization. They didn't have an office. They didn't have employees in Stockholm. They were just a pass-through. Swedish companies that wanted to give money to the Clinton Foundation gave it to the Swedish entity, which passed it on to the U.S. Clinton Foundation. That seems like money laundering to me. Does it to you?
Absolutely, and there's another provision that most people don't know about, and that is that a U.S. public charity has to control its foreign operations tightly. You're not allowed to have shell companies around the world. You're supposed to have tight controls, board minutes, and you're supposed to have an accounting firm to really check all this. The firm they used in the early period, 2011 and 12, was a firm called BKD, which really doesn't have any international capabilities to speak of.
Unbelievable. The other thing is they weren't straightforward with the State Department about whether this entity even existed, correct?
Absolutely. And, that's just normally, a normal human being would be severely reprimanded by all sorts of governments for this type of activity.
Incredible stuff. Charles Ortel, thank you very much for digging it up for us. We appreciate it.